What is a slut?
Wow, that's a harsh word.
A slut would be considered someone who sleeps with lots of men and have no remorse for it.
A girl that is a little too liberal with what she gives away to guys.
I don't believe there is a slut.
It's a word that has been defined by society against women.
It's somebody who's sexually active with numerous people at one time. When I say one time, not at one moment, I mean like
Any given time, but
in a
more
given
than one
time.
person.
Well, who's to say?
Is someone that sleeps around with multiple people constantly.
It's a word that people use to describe girls who are promiscuous.
A woman who's having sex, not taking power in what she's doing, kind of being used. I think that's the perception of it.
Somebody that sleeps has a lot of sexual partners.
When somebody is active with more than one person, or just like reckless.
Probably someone who doesn't conduct themselves with minimum level of like decency.
But I guess like people think a slut is somebody who sleeps around too much. Too much.
How many sex partners are too many?
I don't think there's one definite answer for that. I think every person's different.
I think it's more a matter of why she gives it away. If it's not for emotional reasons, or if she's giving it to any guy that wants it.
Just because a woman has a lot of partners, I don't think that makes her a slut.
More than one, a lot of times for women.
Is that how you feel, or you think that's the perception?
I think that's the perception.
Maybe like if she's a prostitute, then maybe yes, you could call her a slut, but I don't think otherwise that the number really varies.
There is no number. That's too many.
What does a slut look like?
I don't think all sluts look the same.
Like if you are wearing like a tube dress that's from like here to here and you're carrying yourself really sloppily, yes, you're gonna be considered you're gonna be considered a slut. Like people are just gonna look at you and be like, you're easy, and you're a slut.
It's fucking hot out. What do you want someone to not wear shorts because it's going to be slutty? You know what I mean?
I mean, I think they usually use it to describe like pretty girls, potentially more so, or girls that look like voluptuous or sexy, but not really. I think anyone can be called a slut.
I think, yeah, anybody could be a slut. Dressed in a turtleneck, you could be a slut in their head.
Sometimes women wearing revealing clothing.
I guess a slut looks like somebody who is wearing clothes that's very revealing. Oh, for girls, it's like if you wear like skimpy clothing.
Like sometimes a slut is seen as like showing too much skin, wearing something too short, showing a lot of cleavage, that kind of stuff.
Unfortunately, I do not think so. Like me dressed like this, I had a man come up to me the other day and call me a sex demon. So I think guys, when you're so perverted in the head and you're so addicted to pornography and stuff like that.
Sex demon, you say?
I don't think there's a dress code. I think more it's like how someone carries themselves.
So if your butt cheeks are falling out, you're considered a slut.
But I don't know, even if you're going out and you look hot and you want to have sex, cool. Like, you know, I don't think that's bad either.
How about this? Let's say you're with your girlfriends, you're getting dressed to go out for the night. Do you ever turn to one of them and say, does this make me look like a slut?
I think it, yeah.
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 Yes, all the time. Do I look like a slut? We don't want to look like a slut. No, I don't have those kinds of friends.
Another important thing, like for us, we're Christians, we don't look at people and define them by terms like that.
Yeah,
That's not how we operate. That's not how we go. We look at, we believe that people are created in the image of God, so we look at a person and we say human being.
My mom said that she didn't say I look like a slut. She just said I shouldn't be showing all my goodies to the world.
And I went working out with some short shorts, and my mom was like, "Are you really wearing that out in public?"
Can a man be a slut?
There definitely is somewhat of a double standard that I don't think should exist.
How do you feel about that?
It's annoying. Like, guys can sleep around and it's no big deal. When a girl does it, she's a slut.
When you think of slut, you think of a woman. You never think of a man.
Why is that?
I really don't know. I think that's just how society has made the word to be. A slut is a girl who sleeps with a lot of guys. A guy who sleeps with a lot of girls is a player.
Which is unfortunate because it's doing the same thing. Each are doing the same thing. So it's unfortunate that it's just one versus the other. But yeah, I would say a man can be known as a slut as well, for sure.
A guy can sleep with a whole bunch of different women
and he won't be considered a slut.
that.
But
A woman who does that, she's not considered a slut if she carries herself and with dignity. Like if she just happens to have casual partners, I mean, that's not a slut. Men do it too.
I think anybody who's sleeping with a whole bunch of different people, I would consider that a slut. And I don't think it should be biased. I think that's like stereotyping, or it's like double standard, you know?
I would say that more so men get patted on the back for sleeping around with girls versus girls we get called the slut more if we're sleeping around with guys.
it's more acceptable though for a man to sleep with many women. He's praised for doing that.
Yeah.
He's the man.
I think when I hear slut, the first thing is negative. When I hear player, like, a lot of guys will talk to each other like, oh man, you're such a player, like, good on you, like, it's kind of a good thing for them, but like, in my mind, I see it as negative. But I think society sees it.
So you wouldn't want to date a player?
No.
And should a guy not want to date a slut?
A guy wants to get with a slut but would not want to date a slut, you know?
Because I think people should be free to do what they want to do, and as long as they're being safe about it, then who am I to judge you?
I think we should have sexual freedom to have any partner we wish to.
So can being a slut be a choice? Maybe a woman just takes control of her sexuality and says, I want to sleep with whoever I want to sleep with. And
Totally. If a
that's
girl
okay?
wants to sleep with as many guys as she wants, as long as that's what she's comfortable with, of course.
Have you ever had sex on the first date?
I'm not going to put that on camera.
Hey, Tino, you gotta tell those people to hit the subscribe button. My man. Or else you don't eat. Hit the subscribe button, people. Don't you have a heart? Please, save this guy. I know. I love you too. Okay, tongue. Yeah, it's great. Where are you going?